All right, folks, Yishai Fleisher here on a jog in Judea. It's good. It's good to be alive. It's good to be part of the Jewish nation. It's good to be in the Holy Land, the land of Israel, this most beautiful and wondrous land, which is now going through such a revival and a renewal and a rebirth. We really are living in great times, even though we are oftentimes challenged. The following talk I gave in Washington, D.C. For Betar on the very night that the Iran attack took place, on the battle began. That was Thursday night in Washington, D.C. I'm in Washington, and Air Force pilots from Israel go on the attack in Iran, and news begins to come in throughout the very speech that I'm giving. So check that out. And in the speech, I talk about three strategic challenges, three national security challenges that Israel faces, which is not the run-of-the-mill stuff, but a little bit different than what you hear from the others. Here's my analysis of things that Israel really needs to fix if it is to become the strong nation, the strong independent nation that it's meant to be, and that the time is demanding. Okay, so that is, it was a very special moment in Washington in front of this group of young people, a lot of young people in this talk, and a special moment where the battle against Iran, the nation like a lion, the Am Kilavi war began. So check out my talk, and don't forget, before this video, which is a long video with deep thoughts. So that's the kind of video it is. Don't forget to support us. First thing you could do is to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. The next thing you could do is you could check out the links below, including buymeacoffee.com/Yishai, and also fightforisrael.org, fightforisrael.org. Also, check out the awesome shop that we've developed here at Yishai Fleisher TV with a lot of cool swag that makes you a fighter for Israel overtly. It's some good virtue signaling. Let's virtue signal our Zionism and our strength. All right, without further ado, here is my talk in Washington, D.C. About strategic things that Israel needs to strengthen if it is to not only survive, but thrive in this Middle East and as a Jewish state in the world. God bless you. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Shalom, everybody. Erev Tov. Good evening. It's a great honor to be part of JFNA, which is a huge organization here in D.C. in this ultra-modern, beautiful new space of theirs. Just awesome, right? It's just really awesome to be here, and it's just a beautiful venue, so thank you very much. Thank you to my good friends at YJC, Young Jewish Conservatives, including Ben Packer, legend. You know Ben Packer? If you don't, look him up. He's legendary. And also, of course, Rabbi Yitz Tendler, and they do a great job all over the country, but they do a great job, especially at CPAC. They're great Shabbat events and other places. Just that idea of Young Jewish Conservatives. I've been to their events. I love them, and I'm honored to be associated with them. And thank you very much to Betar. If you don't know a little bit about Betar, let me just tell you just a tad. Betar is the revisionist Zionist youth movement founded in 1923 by the legendary Zev Jabotinsky, a fighter, a poet, a writer, a speaker. He used to speak to events like this in the 20s in Hebrew. He would come in, start speaking in Hebrew. Nobody spoke Hebrew. They would be like, speak in Yiddish, speak in Russian. He spoke those languages and he didn't care. He would just address giant audiences in Hebrew. Nobody knew what to do with it. And he'd be like, it's time for you guys to learn Hebrew. He was really, truly a great visionary. He knew that he was also a master educator, and he knew that it was time to cultivate a proud, disciplined, military-trained Jewish youth. It's like first responders, right? First responders go towards the explosion, towards the boom. The natural tendency is to go away. Jabotinsky taught us to fight and to get into the fight. It spread across Eastern Europe. My wife's grandfather during the Holocaust in Hungary was a Betari. And the movement emphasized Jewish self-defense, Hebrew language revival, and Aliyah, immigration to the land of Israel. And then later, they fought against the British and kicked out the British in order to get sovereignty in the land of Israel. Betar continues to live today. People like Ronn Torossian is very famous. And yet, truthfully, he's an old Zionist, but he's also an October 8th Zionist. Meaning to say, even Ron woke up and was like, wait a minute, I'm not doing enough. Got to change the tune here a little bit. By the way, just a little story about Ron, just to understand how we all have to kind of get our minds around new things, we were going to do this event. I asked, is there going to be security? And at first Ron was like, I don't know, not really. And I'm like, no, we got to have security. That's part of Betar. And that's part of the truth is, I'm not a big fish, but I'm a target. And, I work for Hebron. I'm a advisor to Minister Gvir. The bad guys want to get you. And we won't let them. We can't let them with education, but also with force of defense, force of arms. We got to know how to be armed. That's part of it. And I'll say that I'm not going to mention the name of it here out loud, but there's a certain restaurant in town. You all know it. It's a great restaurant. A lot of our people congregate there. It doesn't have enough defense. I'm being cautious with my words because this is broadcast live. Bottom line is, speak to that restaurant. You know what I'm talking about, and tell them, hey, we want to visit your establishment. Let's be smart. We just had a double murder homicide here in Washington. Wake up. There's bad guys out there and they mean business.
22 for every Jew.
Okay, bottom line is, that's a good rhyme from the 60s, 70s, but bottom line is that we all know that we need at least a 9mm. Anyway, so, fine. I want to say just one tiny correction, Kim. You talked a lot about Jews, but there are also non-Jews in this room. Lovers of Israel, who think that Israel should be strong. Maybe they're former Muslims, maybe they're Christians. There are all kinds of folks around here that are pro-Israel and that are with us and that they want our support. And they support us. It's very important, including my friend Hyder in the back there. Thank you very much for being here today. The other thing I want to say, you also said one more tiny correction, which is very important. You said, bring another person who's not with us. Absolutely. However, I want to correct one thing, which is this term, preaching to the choir, is a big misnomer. Big misnomer. There's a guy who preaches to the choir. He's called the priest or the conductor. Okay? There's guys that know how to play basketball, and yet there's a guy who's coaching them. He's called the coach. Okay? They know how to play. They don't need the coach, right? They need the coach. And the choir oftentimes needs some direction. The people that are with us sometimes need a little bit of direction. Okay? Or else they get lost. And so my friend Jake and I, who is here, my friend Jake Bennett from IAC, who's here today, my colleague, we went around and we talked to the choir, to the congressmen who are with us, to the pastors who are with us, we were at RJC today, the folks that are with us. They too need some tweaking and some direction so that we can march a little bit more directly together. That was all by way of introduction. My name is Yishai. I'm the spokesman for the Jewish Community of Hebron. Who's been to Hebron? Who has not been to Hebron? Okay, which I want to say to you, the dear friends who have not been to Hebron, raise your hands again, please, those who have not been. I want to say to you that this means that you have not visited the forefathers and mothers of our peoplehood. You have not visited Mama and Papa of the Jewish peoplehood. It doesn't mean that you haven't gone to Hebron. It means that you haven't seen Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah, what makes us a peoplehood and what makes lovers of Israel, like Muslims and Christians that love Abraham, also connect to us. And so, that was almost half the room said that they haven't been to Hebron. It's time to go visit for your sakes, to connect with the founders of the peoplehood. And the first purchase of the Jewish people in the land of Israel, first purchase, Abraham, chapter 23, book of Genesis, Bereshit, Abraham purchases a plot of land to bury his beloved wife. It's a beautiful story. It's a love story. It's a romantic story. It's about fathers and mothers. It's the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs. It's mamas and papas that give birth to the Jewish nation. You got to visit the mamas and the papas. Okay? Cool. All right. Now, today, I wanted to give a different talk that I'd never written, so I wrote something out for you. And this is in style of Washington, D.C. Last night, we had dinner, including Karis, my friend, and others. We had a great dinner last night. Right? Was it fun? It was quite the intellectual powerhouse dinner. And our good friend, one of my mentors, one of the lights, is actually a non-Jew and a lover of Israel. His name is Michael Duran from Hudson Institute. One of the smartest folks you're going to meet. And Michael says, he said, anti-Semitism, the problem of anti-Semitism is a national security issue. I love that line because it's deeper than meets the eye. The truth on the deepest level is anti-Semitism, in the end, causes the blessing of a country to leave. When God loves his Jewish people, his nation. When a nation blesses Israel, they're blessed. When they start to allow anti-Semitism, the blessing leaves. When Jews are scared, when they're not comfortable, when they feel like there's hate all around them, like at Harvard or Columbia, the blessing starts to leave. And that is a national security issue. I don't know if he meant it on that theological level, but it's true. And it's historically accurate. It's truthfully scientific. That's the truth. Look at the UK. Look at the UK. When in 1917 they decided to help give rebirth to the Jewish state after 2,000 years, and they deserve credit for that. Not enough credit is given to the British for actually envisioning the idea of a reborn Jewish state. When they did that, their commonwealth was massive. As the phrase used to be said, the sun does not set on the British Empire because it's so big. When they turned in the late 20s, early 30s anti-Israel, they shrank from a giant empire to a tiny, annoying little island, okay? Which is now being totally taken over by the jihad. Why? Because they turned from blessing the Jewish people to hating the Jewish people to trying to shrink Israel, and their country got shrunken, all right? So that is a sign, and many other countries as well. You turn against the Jews, and turning against the Jews is turning against the channel of blessings. That's the bottom line. And some countries lament, like Morocco and other countries are like, oh, we miss the Jews. And other people are like, yeah, the Jews are a blessing. If you speak to Arabs, oftentimes, they'll tell you, barakeh, you Jews are a blessing. For example, I remember very well, the Arabs of Gaza used to say to us, don't leave. You are a blessing for this land. When you are not here, it turns into a curse. When I'm telling you that I didn't hear that from somebody, I heard it from Arabs across a fence. I remember their fingers holding on to the fence, and they're telling me, don't leave. You don't understand what's going to take over this land. You are the blessing for this land. Without you, it's an accursed land. The Arabs have always believed that Gaza is an accursed land, and they were amazed to see that when the Jews came back, it flourished. Gaza is Jewish. The Jewish people are a blessing. Kick out the Jews, filled with anti-Semitism. The whole thing becomes a big curse. Okay? So it's scientific. Oh, but what was the point? The point is that when Michael Durant said that anti-Semitism is a national security issue, I'm like, yeah, Washington. We got to talk in terms of Washington, national security. That's the language. And so my talk today is based on this concept of national security. I'm going to try to do it not so long so that we can get to your questions, which are very important. So the first thing is that coolness, being cool, is a national security issue. Did you know that? You have never heard a speaker, and there are smart speakers out there, say this fundamental thing: coolness is a national security issue. Here's the way they kind of say it. Legitimacy equals security. When Israel's legitimate, when any state is legitimate, it can operate. When it's not legitimate, for example, let's give you an example. Let's say Israel's not legitimate, and for example, a Biden administration thinks that our war is not legitimate. Well, suddenly they're not sending you the arms that you need. So your illegitimacy, your non-legitimacy, limits your ability to act, and therefore you don't have as much security. Legitimacy equals security. But what we don't know is that today's legitimacy, how is legitimacy created? Where is it created, people? It's created on TikTok. It's created on campus. The question of legitimacy is it cool? And if I ask the average GW student here, is Israel cool? Is Israel cool today? Because you're cool dudes here in the audience. But Israel's not cool right now. Why is that? That very question is the important point. Why is that? Why are we not cool? And we'll get to that in a second. We're not cool because first thing, our enemies have created a non-cool brand for us and stuck it on. Occupation, genocide. The mothership, by the way, of the bad words is occupation. That's the first one, which means what? What does occupation mean? You're not even from here. You're a white colonialist occupier. Now then it's apartheid. Now there's a genocide. But the mothership of the words is occupation. By the way, who taught them that we're occupying the land? Who taught them that? Jihadists, but also Israel, right? You give away your land to the bad guys, you create a Palestinian Authority, don't be surprised that they're like, I think it's a Palestine here. Well, yeah, you taught them that. You legitimized them. And from then on, they started delegitimizing you. We are friends, we are delegitimized. Delegitimized is a fancy way of saying not cool. We got to think about how to get back to being cool. A few suggestions about being cool. First thing, to be cool, you need a clear brand. What is the brand of Israel? My friend Jake and I were talking about what was the brand of Israel. It used to be Jaffa oranges, agriculture with a gun slung on you, an Uzi. That was a brand. Uzi's a brand, right? What else are Israeli brands? What is Israel?
High tech.
Okay, so then they came up with this high-tech brand. That doesn't legitimize diddly. It doesn't legitimize diddly. It does send a signal, but it's very subconscious signal, which is we are a people of creativity in life vis-a-vis the other side, as opposed to the other side, which is, not generating creativity in life. But it's too deep. On a simple level, high-tech does not legitimize you. It just says, okay, you do high-tech. Let me give you 3 quick brands that we completely take for granted, okay? We take for granted certain things. Let me give you just a quick example. Here's a weird one, the Dead Sea. One of the most beautiful places in the whole world. One of the healthiest places in the whole world. It's just gorgeous. How are we treating our Dead Sea? This is a piece of property. This is the Grand Canyon of Israel. How are we treating it? It's getting dried up. We know that a few corporations kind of control it. We have bolanim, what do you call them? Sinkholes, because it's being drained. It's not a national park, barely. Is it being taken care of the way it's supposed to be taken care of? If you were like, I don't know what, Portugal, and you had this thing, what would you do? Oh my gosh, you would be like, we're the country of the Dead Sea. It's the lowest place in the world. It's got the cleanest air. You don't get sunburned. It's amazing. You float on the sea. It's healthy. There's spas. They closed down one of the best spas at the Dead Sea, never to reopen through COVID. They haven't reopened it. My point is, here's a brand. We've got this thing called the Dead Sea. Share that with the world. Have everybody come. Have everybody get healed there. That's a weird brand, but think about it. We have something amazing. We take it for granted. I'll give you another brand. Medicine. What happens to the top tier of Israelis that want to get into medical school? They get into medical school. But what if you're just a tad below the top tier? What happens? You have to fly away to Poland, to Caribbean, to Hungary, to Bologna, Italy, to study medicine. Hello, we're Israel. We've been famous doctors throughout history. We got to have not little medical schools that can't take enough but the top tier. We have to have giant medical schools that every Israeli that wants to go to can get into, but also all the people that want to go to Bologna are like, I think I'm going to go study with the Jews. And then I'm going to get a tuda, I'm going to get a degree. Studied in Tel Aviv, studied in Beersheba. Wow, you studied with the Jews? Oh, you're an African nurse, but you actually went to Tel Aviv to study that? That's amazing. You probably got a great education. I want to go to you. What about medical tourism? I landed in Cleveland a few years ago. I'm like, what the heck is this place? I was like, what's going on here? Nothing. Then people started explaining to me what this Cleveland Clinic is. I'm like, the whole world flies to Cleveland, which is a really boring place, just to get medicine here. What about Israel? There's a brand right there, medical brand. Come to Israel to get healed. And the mother of all the lost brands, the things that we take for granted, is the Bible. It's absurd how much we take for granted the Bible. The Bible is the most sold and read book in the world. It happened in our land. The heroes are our people. We don't sell the Bible. There's no Bible theme park. There's no real Bible museum in a real way. Is there a Bible? I mean Bible theme park. Have you ever been to, when I was a kid, my parents took me to Colonial Williamsburg. It was awesome. Is there a Colonial Williamsburg of the Bible? Can you touch the Bible? Can you meet Abraham? You can barely buy a tchotchke, a souvenir. You can barely buy, the only souvenirs they have over there is the Christian souvenirs, God bless them. You can barely buy an Abraham on a camel. You can barely get one. to have a good tchotchke souvenir that you could take with you. I went to Niagara Falls. Oh my God. Did they have tchotchkes, okay? Endless, of all price ranges. I went to England, to London. We went to some castle. They had there everything from a little stick sword that was like $3 to a $10,000 full-on Crusader sword at the store. They know how to sell their brand. The greatest of them all is Australia. These guys know how to sell their brand. What's the Australian brand? You know it. Kangaroo and didgeridoo and boomerang and Uluru, whatever you want. They know how to sell their brand. What's our brand?
It should be King David.
Okay.
Moses.
Okay.
The Torah.
Are you gonna? Does it say land of King David? Does it say that? Let me ask you a question. When you come to Jerusalem, when I was a kid, I lived in Wayne, New Jersey. We had a sign that was so nice when you came into Wayne, New Jersey. It was like Wayne. It was made from bushes. It was really nice. And it even said home of the 1976 Little League champions. Okay? You come to Jerusalem, there's this metal sign that says, there's a white thing. When you come from Tel Aviv, it's like Bruchim Habayim. And then you come from a different entrance, it just says Jerusalem. Are you joking me? It's Yerushalayim. It's Yerushalayim. It's Jerusalem. It's like the famous brand of this world. When you come to Jerusalem, I want there to be golden arches. Have you ever been to St. Louis? Have you ever seen that arch? That thing is awesome. That thing is awesome. Imagine 5 or 6 of these arches. When you enter, you'll know you're entering the golden eternal city, Ir HaNetzach, Jerusalem. You will know it. What was that? That was not me. You will know it. That was, I think, Hashem saying yes. I think that was a click of a thumbs up there. You will know when you come to Yerushalayim that you are entering this amazing city. It's not just another city. It's not Wayne, New Jersey, God bless it. It's Yerushalayim. You got to be wowed by it. You got to wow by it. By the way, P.S., here, Washington, this whole thing is about wow. The whole darn thing is about wow. Me and Jake today went to the Portrait Museum, the Portrait Gallery Museum. Unbelievable. Hats off. What a thing. Beautiful writing, beautiful museum, beautiful. Honor. Kol hakavod. There's architecture. Our hotel, you could see the Washington Monument. It does it. It does that thing. It makes you go, wow. It makes you go, I respect. It makes you go, there's power here. You got it? Huh? Okay. So we'll do a Beit HaMikdash, but you could even on the steps towards Beit HaMikdash. But you're right. You're not wrong. Jerusalem, here's a brand. Jerusalem, spiritual capital of the world. Here's another brand. Come to Israel and have a prophetic moment. That's the ride. That's the ride. The ride is, I was speaking to a chief of staff yesterday, Bible-believing Christian, strong Bible-believing Christian. He's just told me a long story about how he prayed for an hour at the Western Wall and then walked a few steps and suddenly he saw a sign, a revelation on the question that he was dealing with. And I'm like, that's what happens in the land. God talks to you. Come to Israel, talk with God. For everybody. Use powerful brands. What is our brands? They're wishy-washy brands. What are we? The gay capital of the Middle East? What else is our brand? Falafel. Weak. It's a weak brand. What is the cultural building of Jerusalem? And I say Jerusalem. What visual thing do you have? What's the thing? The thing that you think of Jerusalem. What is it? No. Dome of the Rock. Not a win. Not a win for the Jews, folks.
That's the Arab occupation.
The occupation isn't just physical. It's in the mind. It's a war of brands. It's a war of consciousness. It's a war of narratives. And so my point to you is that you can look out the window in the back here. It's iconic. It's big. It says it. You know it. Washington, D.C. It does that thing. Do that thing with Jerusalem. Do it with Tel Aviv as well. Here's another brand for you before I go on to other issues. Here's another brand. Israel is Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. That's the brand. We have a polarity. An ancient, biblical, spiritual city. An ultra-modern, fast-paced beach city with thinking, with high-tech. Yes, in the morning you could be in the ancient city. At night you could party in Tel Aviv. It's one. It's not a competing brand. It's one brand. That's Israel. That's powerful. That's powerful. You can have Jerusalem in the morning and Tel Aviv at night. That's powerful. Qatar doesn't have that. But you got to sell it instead of this wishy-washy, we give away our land for peace. We'll do anything for peace. Oh, here's the story. I forgot to tell you the story. About a month ago, this young lady calls me, and she used to write for Haaretz. She wanted to come with, she's now a fixer. That means that she works with media. I generally don't like press, except for Jake Turks. Except for that guy right there. There's great press right there, okay?
Big mistake.
Huh?
Big mistake.
Yeah. I didn't say I trust you. No, you're the best. And
you don't like me.
Huh?
You don't like press. I didn't say
Oh,
you don't like me.
no, I work with press. But I don't always like them.
Yeah.
I don't always like them
Stay
because
away from press.
they're lazy. That's what's wrong. That's what I don't like about press these days. They're lazy. They don't want to go deep. In any case, so she, you know what I mean? They want little answers to their little things so they can get that story out, you know? So they can get that click. It's not deep anymore. It's not real reporting. It's not real. It's you know what I mean? And not only that, let me tell my story on Facebook or on, YouTube just as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's not the point of the story.
Well,
So
the point of press is to help people who are not good at expressing themselves or don't necessarily know what their story is and help them get their story out and put it out there. It's not to...
as the Torah says, Luhi Yeked
Everyone has a
Varecha.
platform now.
It should be like you said, but it's not like that because
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of press. I just dealt with BBC Radio 4 just yesterday, and I deal with a lot of these guys. And let me put it this way, it's a war to get my angle out, okay? Anyway, so she's from Haaretz, right? I knew her from Haaretz.
Ooh.
So she's from Haaretz, so she's from the left. But you know what? She's a smart gal and a semi-friend. We had a relationship. And I said to her, wait, did I say also thank you to Kayla? Did I say thank you to you from YJC? Kayla, did I say thank you to you? Did I? Okay, good. Okay, God bless you. So I'm speaking with this girl from Haaretz. I said to her, listen to this, guys, you're going to love this story. I said to her, how's this war been for you? She goes, really hard. I go, what's been hard? She says to me, what's been hard for me is that my friends in the European left don't accept me as a victim. I said to her, that's what's been hard for you? She's like, yeah, I'm trying to tell them that I'm also a victim, and they don't believe me. I said to her, we religious folks, we're not that cool because we're kind of square and observant and all that kind of stuff. You Tel Aviv folks are supposed to be in charge of cool. You're the cool brand. Do you really think that trying to sell yourself as a victim to Europeans is a winning brand? Didn't we do like the never again, now we're going to be kick butt Jews, Betar and that kind of thing? Like, is that your whole thing? That you're going to somehow be like, but I'm also a victim. Do you really think you're going to win anything? Do you really think anybody likes that? I'm at the party and I'm like, I'm a victim. Is that the Israeli brand you think is going to work? Please accept me as a victim. I'm pissed that you're not accepting me as a victim. Yeah, Allah. I said to her, where are you? Where are you at? Where's the strong Israeli? Where's the strong macho Israeli? Where are you? This is your whole thing? I want to be a victim? Don't you see my pain? As a Russian Jew, as a Betar type Jew, I can't stand that. I never want people to see me as a victim. I want to be like, boom. My grandfather, my grandparents came on tanks into Auschwitz with the Soviet army, with the Red Army. Like, I don't want to be seen as a victim at all. I'm not interested. And nobody's going to buy it. Who the heck, who's going to be somebody that is going to care about me being a Jewish victim? Do they care about us when we were victims in the Holocaust? Come on. Is that the brand that you want to be? And she was like shocked. She's like, whoa. I'm like, I said to her, is that the brand that you want to project? It's a loser brand. So, bottom line is, what did I say to you? How do we call this part? Coolness is a national security issue. Can we think about being cool a little bit? Can we stop being loserish? Can we be cool? Own the brand. Pick a brand, own the brand, be strong, be proud out there. Don't try to be the victim. Nobody likes a victim. You give charity to a victim. You don't fear a victim. You don't respect a victim. Come on. Be big. We're going to get to be big in a second. Number 2. Here's a tricky one for the Jewish people. Humility is a national security issue. Humility is a national security. We love ourselves so much. We think we're so great. We have conferences all the time. We talk about how great we are, how much work we're doing. Do you know we've been outclassed by the bad guys? Do you know that they've been under our noses taking away campus, media, and even Washington, D.C., and our politicians, buying them out, nice and slow with a strategic goal? You know that they've bought cool, right? What is that World Cup thing? The whole World Cup in Qatar was to make Hamas cool. If Qatar is cool, then the people who sponsor Hamas is cool. Hamas is cool. That's it. We'll do the whole damn World Cup so people can play a soccer match so that our jihadist ideology can be cool. They are masters of cool. And they have outclassed us. Let's say it. Believe me, when you say it, it actually relieves something. Let's not be haughty. Let's not think about how our country is the best. Let's just say it truthfully. They've outclassed us. By the way, guess what? Bad news. They're also outclassing us in high tech. Do you know that? Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE are bringing the best talent in the world, giving them a bureaucracy-free way to start businesses. Live in Qatar, start your high-tech business, we'll help you. No bureaucracy, you'll make a lot of money, and it's a totally international, smart people city. Can you do that in Israel? Can you come in as an international and start a business easily? No. No, you cannot. We have a lot of bureaucracy. It's very hard to start businesses in Israel. And so the bad guys have outclassed us. Do you know that they pay at least 10 PR firms here in DC $200,000 a month? How many PR firms does Israel hire here? Zippo, not a one. So they're working hard, and we need to get back on track, okay? And when we a little bit, there was another thing. What was that thing called that we were a little bit haughty about, and we thought we had it all totally under control? What's that thing? No, there was this other thing that we had it totally under control. We knew what we were doing, but then we were surprised. What was that thing called? Oh yeah, October 7th. That's right. Oh yeah, we knew. They were murta'im. They were, what's the word in English? Muta. They were, deterred. They were deterred. They wanted peace and economy. We had it under control. We had a lot of stuff. We had cameras, sensors. We knew what they're talking about. We have Shmona Matayim. We listen to them. We know everything. We have their cell phones tapped. We're so on top of it. Oh, look at that. What happened? Oh, the wall fell. Oh, look at that. They were planning it for 2 years. Oh, look at that. They totally faked us out with not going on the rocket attack and letting Islamic Jihad do it. The whole thing was a fake. I'm just trying to say this. National security issue for the Jewish people right now is to get off the haughtiness. Let's just admit it. We failed. We're failing. We're not doing well on campus. All the campus organizations, they should all be, al chet, come to us and be like, we've sinned. We're not doing it right. We're not doing it right. We're not cool. We're outclassed. We're a sideline nation. And so I think that it's a little bit time to, I know it's hard to hear this, but it's time to be like, hey, let me tell you a story. I went October 30th, I went to Central Command. We were getting a speech as spokespeople for Judea and Samaria, and this army guy came, and he's speaking to us in the old way. תשמעו, אתם יודעים, פה יש לנו קווים, אנחנו שומרים פה, יש לנו גבעה כזאת פה, ואנחנו מרתיעים אותם. They talked to us in this way. I asked him a question, so he gave me this haughty answer. I said to him, Habibi, buddy, that was an October 6th answer. You guys failed. Talk to me like an October 8th Jew. Talk to me about how we're going to fix these things. Don't talk to me like an October 6th in the old way. It didn't snap out of it. You failed. You should be all fired. That's the way a normal country would do it. You would fire them. Fire the chief of staff. Fire them. You failed. And we also, all of us, have to wake up. By the way, just to remind you, in 2005, my wife and I and a lot of other folks went down to Gaza to protest the Gaza giveaway. What did we say? Don't give away the land, because if you do, the jihad's going to take over and they're going to do all this bad stuff. That's what we said. It's all on record. I had a radio station I was the head of. So it's not a surprise. You could check it. That's what we said. What happened? They're like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand you don't know. And what happened? We let them take over. They built terror tunnels under our noses. Under our noses. And eroded our standing internationally all this time. So, can we please do a little bit of a... Do you hear me? Can you hear that? Can you accept that in your heart? Can you hear it? Can we a little bit be like, can we a little bit like loosen up and say, hey, there's something that we messed up with. I haven't heard anybody in the Israeli left say, yeah, we shouldn't have given up that land. That was a mistake. Anybody? Anybody? Can we say that? And all day long they talk about the hostages. Well, why do you think there's hostages? Because you gave away the land. No, they don't want to talk about that. Hostages. They like make it like you can't hear anything else. But what's the reason that this happened? How can we make sure it doesn't happen again? Oh, I know. Let's give away more terrorists. Isn't that the way it happened the last time? Little bit of smartness. It's time to hold our leaders accountable, including Netanyahu, snap out of the old way, and a little bit like shake ourselves out of a stupor. You were hinting at it as well. Shake yourself out of a stupor. Stop thinking we got it all. I speak to American Jews. Yeah, but you guys are the strongest country in the region. That's a stupid way of thinking. We got jihadism all around us. All around us, it's metastasized. Am I right? It's all around us. It's in Lebanon. It's in Syria. It's in Jordan. It's in Iraq. It's in Egypt. It's in the Sinai. It's all around us like a choke. It's a noose. It's a chokehold. And that leads me to last point, and then I'm going to get to your questions, which is called, and this is from my friend Jake. Heidi, nice to see you. Here's the last point of the speech. You got to the most important one, so don't worry. You got to the most important one. The most important one is that bigness is a national security issue. Be big, Israel. Stop trying to be small. We have a country that has inside of it a bug. And this bug I call, and if Jabotinsky would be right here next to me, he would agree with me. We have a ghetto Jew inside. We have a little ghetto Jew. Galuti, I want to call it ghetto. And here's the point. When you speak to average Israelis, Ron, tell me if I'm right. We speak to average Israelis, I say to them, we got to be big. They say, "Anachnu lo rotzim lishlot be'am acher." We don't want to rule another people. Am I right, Ron? Nachon omrim et ze?
You're right.
Yes. Thank you very much. So Ron knows that what I'm saying, it's a common lingo. We don't want to rule other people. And what do I say to them, Ron, every time I say to them, why not? And then they go, because nobody says to them, why not? And I say to them, every nation, every big power rules other peoples. How many ethnicities, nations are there in the world, people? Do you know?
So many.
How many?
So many.
Sociologists say 3,000. How many countries are there?
180.
193. And so therefore, it must be that some countries rule over many nationalities. Israel, you can't be a ghetto country who just wants to be a small ethnicity, small, good, moral, kind, doesn't rule other people. You've got to want to govern. You've got to want to be big. Ein ma lasot, you can't do anything about it. That's what God wants for us, to be big in our region. And when we're small, what happens? What happens? How does the jihad feel about when we're small? They smell weakness. They want to eat you. You're like, I just want to go to my defensive little wall. I just want a little ghetto wall. I just want to be good, kind. I want to be liked for being moral by the French and the British. I just want to be good and kind by the UN. That's all I want. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to take control and be big. I want to be small and good and nice and liked. And nobody likes you. The jihad is hungry for more. And the only answer is be big. Here, look at Gaza right now. Look at Gaza. How many times have we heard over the last year and a half that we're looking for somebody else to take over Gaza? Can somebody please take over this land for me? Could it be maybe a conglomerate of Saudi Arabia and Egypt? Maybe the UN can step in. I know, let's pay some local militias and families. We'll give them guns and they'll rule Gaza. Can please somebody take this land away from me? Somebody else can rule it. Who? Who could it be? Who is going to make sure that this place doesn't turn jihadist? Who's going to develop this place? Trump's like, you should take it over. You guys should kick out the bad guys. Okay, you don't want to do it? I'll take it over. It's really good real estate. I know real estate. It's nice. It's really nice. Make it really nice there. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's going to be great. We're like, oh, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to kick people out. Why not? It's time to go. Do you know that in every single war in recent times, civilians or non-combatants, let's put it that way, leave the scene? Do you know that? Ukraine, millions leave Ukraine in the war. Syria, civil war, millions get displaced. Just one conflict, the folks don't get displaced. That's our conflict, okay? And Israel is still searching around. One second, I'm just going to make the point. I'll get to you. Israel is still searching around. Who can take over this land? The one simple conclusion they can't come to is, no, you got to take responsibility for this land. Oh, there's Arabs there? Fine. Rule them, govern them, be sovereign. You have to give them medicine, give them medicine. Give them residency. Don't give them citizenship. Israel's like, but then we're going to have to give them citizenship. Yeah, right. What are you, stupid? Look around the Middle East. Look around the Middle East. You got Qatar. What are they? 20%, 25% of Qatar is Qatari. The rest get residency. And certainly don't vote for anything. What about Saudi Arabia? What about UAE? Same. Who cares about your stupid idea that you got to give everybody the vote? Hello, you're in the Arab Middle East. Snap out of it. Be big, Israel. Be big. And imagine, and my friend Jake pointed this out to me, and imagine this. Imagine the day, imagine October 8th. First thing, ba-boom! The border between Gaza and the other Arab country right next door called Egypt, on our Sinai, but it doesn't matter. Imagine if the border between Gaza and the Sinai was blown open. Boom, boom! Hey, how could you do that? You're at peace with Egypt. No! They ran all the weapons through the tunnels, Egypt did. They're combatants. Be real. Blow that border open, send the non-combatants there, have the UN put up some tents, and then anybody that stays in Gaza is a combatant, and fight them and destroy them. Simple. Imagine, as my friend Jake pointed out, imagine if suddenly the Four Seasons in Doha, Qatar, the 14th floor, whatever floor they're on, just blows up, and the heads of Hamas are taken out. Imagine, as my friend Jake said, truthfully, that the Qatar royal family, who has destabilized our region, who has paid for Hamas, who houses and supports Hamas. Imagine if they were destroyed October 8th as enemies. Imagine what would have been. Do you think the whole world would have hated Israel or liked Israel?
Loved Israel.
Respect. And of course the Arabs would have respected you because they would have been like, great, and thank you, and now we can live without jihadism, and thank you for getting rid of jihadism. But instead, we do this, we're like Woody Allen out there. You know what I mean? And we suffer from this disease called Woody Norris disease. Sometimes we're mostly Woody Allen, sometimes we're Chuck Norris for like a second. You know? We're like beepers, boom! But then we're like back to being Woody Allen. You got to keep going. Beepers is stage one. Keep it up. Be big, Israel. Be big. Want to be big. I want to govern other peoples. You think the Persian Empire was like, I don't want to govern other peoples? You think Alexander the Great was like, I don't want to govern other peoples? It doesn't work that way. Be big. Be big and people will respect you. And there'll be a better Middle East. Bigness is a consciousness. Hey, there's my friend Eitan. Bigness as a consciousness is, in itself, a strategic issue. We have a psychological barrier in Israel. We don't want to be big. Am I right here, Ron, or not? Ron, am I right here or not? Do we have a problem not wanting to be big or not?
We should be big.
Do we have a problem not wanting to be big?
We do. We have a problem with that.
We have a problem with that. We have a problem with that. We have a problem with that. When I was a kid, Israel was bigger. We had the Sinai. It was big. It was a big Israel. And then we gave away the Sinai. We shrank. We became a little good Jewish state. We made peace with Egypt. But in the end, we actually shrank ourselves, and who did we give that land to? To Egypt and to Carter. Carter was a Jew hater. Carter was an Israel hater. And we shrank, and we've been shrinking. Since I've been a kid, Israel has shrunken and shrunken and shrunken. We shrank from the Sinai, big mistake. We shrank from Judea and Samaria, big mistake, a heartland. And we shrank away from Gaza in 2005. How's that working out for us? Let me ask you a simple question. Does the world like us better the day after the 6-Day War or the day after the Oslo Accords when we started giving away our land?
6-Day War.
Yeah. They like us when we're big. They like us when we're strong. And the Christians are like, God is coming down. He's helping the Jewish people. And the Muslims are like, well, looks like we got to respect these guys. They're playing like us. They're doing what we would do. They're big and strong. The whole world respects you when you're big. Israel. So, in short, here I'm finishing up. To summarize, Israel. Know your brand. Push it out. Be cool. Be big. Well, first thing is be cool. Think about being cool. Because cool is for strategic reasons. It's not just to be cool at the party. It's literally a security issue. Today, if you're not cool, you are losing your legitimacy and you are limited in your options. So be cool so that you can have options about how to deploy your forces, how to operate. That's number one. Number two, stop being haughty. Learn something. I brought Minister Gvir here to town a month ago, right? And you know what I told him? I said, let's act like not Israelis. You know how everybody perceives Israelis? They think of us as not being able to listen to anything. And to just, we're talking, we're brash, we know everything. I said, let's act like we don't know everything. Maybe we should act a little bit with more humility, and maybe we have something to learn from America. Could it be? Could it be that Jerusalem has something to learn from Washington? I think so. Jerusalem is the best. It's my favorite place in the world. It still has something to learn from Washington. And finally, being big. Want to be big. How many speakers have you heard talk about Israel should be big? Like they don't let you. Oh, he's a greater Israel guy. He wants genocide, take over other people's land. I want to be a big Israel. I think big Israel means if there's one panacea, if there's one thing that will heal the majority of problems that we have, is just this. If I could impart anything on you today that you'll accept and it'll change the course, because remember, by the way, all of you are influential. You're DC people. One way or the other, you're influential. That idea, Israel should be big. Israel should be bigger. And if it's bigger, there's going to be more security, more strength. Hi there, am I right? Am I right? My non-Jewish friend in the back from Iraq, okay? Am I right? That's right. That's right. Let me ask you this. I have Taiwanese guests. I say to them, Taiwan is a tiny island across from the Taiwan Straits over there from China, right? I say to them, Taiwan, you're so stupid. You have a war with China. You can make peace with China. Just split your island in half, give half to China, and there'll be peace. How does that sound?
Well, the Chinese would want the whole platform.
Oh yeah, that's right. They would want the whole thing.
So, for Israel, it must be strong for the whole Middle East. Without Israel, Iran will not only already took Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. It will just expand, the rest. And Arabs are basically right now, think of us as disabled. We can do nothing about that. They already took over most of the countries and they're expanding. Israel is the only country fighting back, and we have respect for that because they are the only one who's standing out to them. And America, to be honest, America says, you know what, I fought Iranians a lot of times. I don't want simply. I'm far away anyhow, but Israel is in the Middle East. Israel is our neighbors. Jews are our cousins. I am Arab, I'm Iraqi, and I'm really actually thankful for Israel because Israel is defending us,
right.
Not only itself and the Jews,
right.
Defending Arabs from this Iranian regime and their...
And do you think it's a good idea for Israel to succumb to walk away from Gaza, walk away from Judea and Samaria? You think it's a good idea for Israel to shrink, give this land away to...
People saying also Israelis should put their guns down as well. I mean, if that happens simply, what Israel will do, what the Jews will do. The Jews will be all killed by the Iranians on their terrorists.
Okay.
Israel and the Jews, not Muslims.
I'm trying to make it simple, Haider. I'm trying to make it simple for people, which is don't give away your land. Don't succumb to the jihad. Be big. Be strong.
You mentioned a point about Gaza.
Yeah.
That nobody wants Gaza. You're right. No Arab wants
I want Gaza.
No, but Arabs doesn't want Gaza
Yeah.
because Gaza has a problem.
Right.
Nobody wants it because
Right.
I think if we rule them, the problems will expand to us. We leave their problems to Israel.
Gaza is beautiful. Gaza is wonderful. We lived in Gaza. The land loved us. And we loved it. It was flourishing. The children were beautiful. The wheat and the flowers and the fruits were beautiful. The houses were beautiful. It was a Gan Eden. It was a Garden of Eden over there. Okay? That's what happens. By the way, you're from the original Garden of Eden area. Look what the jihad did to Babylon. Destroyed it. Okay, that, my friends, is my presentation to you. And now it's time for your questions. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Come on, everybody. That's right. There you go. Yofi. If you have to ask for it. All right, here we go. There's a lot of questions out there. But there was somebody who had a question over here. Yes?
Can we interrupt for one
Yes,
minute?
ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Tfaddal.
I just want to let everybody know in the room that Israel has just struck Iran. Yes. So I thought that was worthy.
Is it? Did it happen when I said Israel should be big?
It
Did
said
it
it
happen
happened
at that
at the
exact moment?
moment
Did that happen? Inshallah, with the help of God.
Okay, no, that's
Okay.
it. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. Now turn it back over.
Okay, let's find out more about that, and let's hope for good news. Let's hope that the bad guys were destroyed and the good guys are safe, and that the Jewish people in Israel is going to be stronger for the sake of the whole region. Yes, Jake Turks, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so first of all, this is what I wanted to say about 15 minutes ago when I raised my hand. But it feels very humbling to be at this Jake Love Fest over here. I keep hearing all these different Jakes, and every time I think you're talking to me.
No, there's a Jake. There's my brother Jake over there. Yeah.
So, as someone who's been to Hebron multiple times, and not just that, but as you know, I made it a priority when I brought my family to Israel for the first time shortly before October 7th. It is one of the most profound experiences I've ever had, getting to spend time over there. I want to address a particular elephant in the room, and that is...
Do it in question form and keep it tight. Let's go.
We have 7 million Jews in the United States, 1.3 million Orthodox.
7 million Jews.
7 million Jews in the United States, 1.3 million Orthodox. And my question is, if the Orthodox Jews of the United States, one day decide they want to move to Israel, where in the world do they move? There are no communities, really. Haredim in the U.S. and Haredim in Israel are not at all the same. In most respects, not even compatible. There are not really a lot of options for Haredi Americans. There aren't a lot of housing options. And I'm just curious if you have any ideas, any insights, if anybody's working on this, because I'm asking questions about this and I'm not getting any very good answers.
I'm not in that community, as you know exactly. I'm on the side of that community. I try to do my best to be close to the Haredi community. In fact, one of the things I like in this world, like in Gush Etzion, is that we have a closeness. I live in a religious Zionist community, but next door to us is Betar, the big Haredi community. So I make it a priority to be close to the Haredi community in my life. And I think it's good for my kids. My son studies in a Haredi Talmud Torah, of Zilberman Talmud Torah. The answer to your question, I don't have it exactly, but I'll give you a thought about it, okay? I just don't have it in the sense that I don't know exactly who's working on Haredi issues, ultra-Orthodox issues, but I'll answer you like this. Lubavitcher Rebbe says a fantastic phrase. He says, Eretz Yisrael, most lands that you come to, you have to turn into what that land is. Eretz Yisrael, a little bit turns itself into what you are. It'll accommodate you. My point to you is simple. I see what's happening in Lakewood. You see how excellently... Anybody has to go, God bless you. Thank you so much. Toda rabah. God bless you. Thank you very much. So the answer to your question is, enterprising Lakewood people, or whatever they are, need to go to Eretz Yisrael and start building their communities. I deal with the Syrian community. Syrian community is now buying property and building up their kind of thing because they need their own kind of thing. Haredim need their kind of thing. You need your kind of school. The state's not going to do it for you. The state is not going to do it for you. And as good Americans, we don't think that the state should do it for you, right? We think we should do it for ourselves and the state should back us up, whatever it is. So if you want to talk to don't talk to me. Talk to somebody in Lakewood who's a macher, who's a Gvir, who wants to go to Eretz Yisrael and to start building our dream of returning to Eretz Yisrael. And by the way, I want to tell you something about myself. I tell this to people all the time. I don't need blue and white. I'm blue and white, but when I talk to somebody like you, I can talk black and white. I can talk Haredi. I don't need you to follow my brand. You have a different brand? It loves Eretz Yisrael, has a different pronunciation, has different inyanim, different things. Great. I don't need you to buy into my framework. Every one of the 70 members of the Sanhedrin needed to speak 70 languages. What does it mean, 70 languages? He spoke Amharic, he spoke Portuguese. It means that he knows how to speak to 70 kinds of Jews and to understand their taich, their way, their derech, their intonation. Who's their Rebbe? Did they say the Rebbe? Did they say Rabbeinu? What do they say? I could talk with a lot of kinds of Jews. So, a Haredi Jew wants to come to Eretz Yisrael. Baruch Hashem, there's already, there's everything from all the way from Mea Shorim to Betar to Beit Shemesh. Beit Shemesh, there's like 5 different Haredi areas just in Beit Shemesh, right?
None of these places are compatible with the average
I get it.
Orthodox Jew from the U.S.
I get it. No, you're talking about you're talking about Haredi, not Orthodox.
Haredi.
Right.
Haredi.
Good. Build it. The country will welcome you. And if you're smart, you'll see that Eretz Yisrael will help you do it. It'll help you do it. Now the country's going to give you some pushback. Big deal. Eretz Yisrael, Nikdet B'Yisurim, it says.
What kind of pushback?
We are over bureaucratic. We make everything hard unnecessarily. It'll take a year for you to make Aliyah so that you can get some paperwork and have the FBI give it your FBI, what's it called, background check, and then you have to go to New York and get apostille, some bull crap from 1,000 years ago, and we're going to make it slow and annoying for you. But in the end, you're going to get to Eretz Yisrael. Okay, I wish our country would get rid of some of that ridiculous bureaucracy. I hear people tell me how hard it is to make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. What the heck? What's the problem? But they do it. I know. I live in a town I'm also, on top of my other hats, happens to be that I'm a Efrat city councilman, and I sit on the Aliyah portfolio, and I'm telling you, every summer, Baruch Hashem, we have 10 families, 20 families coming to move to Efrat. And so too in Betar and other places. That's it. That's my answer to you is find the enterprising guy. Don't talk to me about answers and questions. Find the guy who's going to be the Gvir, the Machar. There's money there. Haredim know how to work that system. Go to Eretz Yisrael. I see Syrians are doing it. Certainly, Satmar folks could do it. Go buy a place, make a place in Eretz Yisrael, and it'll be successful. Okay? Yeah, Bezrat Hashem. Yes, sir.
You live in Hebron, right?
I live in Efrat.
Is that close to Hebron?
Yeah, 25 minutes. Yeah.
I'm just curious, like Hebron's in the West Bank, right? Or Judaism.
We love the West Bank, baby. We love Eretz Yisrael, but with the heartland of the Jewish people is Judea and Samaria. Okay? Judea and Samaria is more like, that's not like the kind of, oh no, you live in Judea and Samaria. It's like, yeah, baby, we live in the heartland, where the Bible happened, and we are settlers. Is that a good word? No, we're not really settlers, we're resettlers. We're resettlers. But you know what? If you're going to use that word settler on me, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm the settler. I'm the guy who's going to be living, and my wife is going to be the type of lady who's going to be living in the tough place, to hold on to it, to make it safe, to make it awesome, to push back on jihad, and to live in the land of the Bible. And it's the mountains, and it's the best air in the country. It's beautiful. There's cherries. We go to this berry festival. There's these Afghani mulberries. There are these long mulberries, and there's cherries. It's awesome. It's the heartland of the Holy Land. Okay? So yeah, Hebron is an ancient city. It's 4,500 years old. 3,500 years Jews have lived there. And I have the great honor of representing and fighting for it. Come and visit. Yes, sir.
Michael Edberg, Betar. We were just in Israel for 3 weeks for our son's wedding.
Son's wedding, who's in the army.
My son is
Come on, round of applause there, everybody. Come on. Kol hakavod. Got married in Israel, dragged the family over. Now you're trying to buy a place in Eretz Yisrael.
He's from Morocco.
Huh?
To a nice Sephardic girl whose family's from Morocco.
That's the way to do it. Mix that gene pool. Make beautiful babies. Good. Bezrat Hashem.
Wanted to ask you about Syria and the Druze, because one thing that was interesting that came out of this war, the Druze in Syria realized Israel has been so good to the Druze in Israel. We'd like to be a part of Israel as well. Can you comment on that?
Druze are an Arabic-like minority that live in Israel. When I say Arabic, it's that they speak Arabic. They're not Arabs. They're a different ethnicity and a different religion. They trace themselves to Jethro, Yitro. They live well in Israel most of the time. They're also in our army, and they are a non-jihadist Arabic minority. There were Druze that lived in the north that they had family members in Syria, and therefore they kept aloof from, kind of becoming pro-Israel. Now, all minorities in the Middle East kind of unite with one another. The Kurds, the Druze, the Jews, they kind of need one another because at the end, minorities, we are minorities.
The Baha'i.
The Baha'i, no, I never even met one Baha'i in my life. I don't even know. I've seen the gardens. Other than that, I don't know. Mamash never met one, but maybe one in DC years ago when I was at APEC. Anyway, bottom line is that bottom line is that the Druze are a minority that live in Israel. I just want to say one thing. I want to say something contentious just to make it fun. I wouldn't necessarily give ethnic minorities that love Israel, I wouldn't necessarily give them the equal vote, because I think that undermines the idea, that undermines Israel as a Jewish ethnic national state with minorities living inside. I would give them residency and some way of representation. But the problem is once I give the Druze the vote, then the other people that I need to annex and bring into my body politic, they'll say, why don't you get the vote? I wouldn't give minorities, I wouldn't give other ethnicities a full equality of voting. And I always tell Arabs, I say to them, you will get everything in Israel. You will get roads, education, upward mobility, and freedoms and liberties, but not equality. Because we are a protectorate. We are a reservation. We are a tiny little country in a giant majority. We're not here to empower the Arabs to undermine us through our democracy. That's dumb. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Be smart. And understand that, yes, that doesn't mean that you don't have liberal principles, but don't give total equalities because they'll undermine you. And by the way, they understand that. Arabs tell me all the time, they're like, just give us residency. They say it in Israeli style. They say, give me a blue card, a blue identity card. That's all I want. And I'll be happy to live in your Jewish state. Yes. Yes, sir. We'll get to you in a second. Yes, sir. Ben. Go ahead.
So, even going back all the way back to the Second Temple, the diaspora has always been a huge part of the Jewish community. In the October 8th world, you were talking about branding. What is the brand of the diaspora?
That's a very, very interesting question. That's a very interesting question, and I think that for people like me, October 7th, I'm going to say something kind of shocking. Isn't that fun? I'm going to say something shocking, which is, what did October 7th change for me? Not much. Because we knew that was going to happen. We warned about it. Not much. Some things, but not much. I'm not so sure what I think about diaspora Jewry after October 7th is what I think beforehand. Diaspora Jewry should be connected to Israel, should take steps towards Israel. For example, everybody in this room, Jake, listen to this. Jake Turks, listen to this. Very simple. Everybody in the diaspora should buy wine from the land of Israel and say Kiddush on it Friday night, okay?
I've been doing it for years.
Friday night, take wine from the land of Israel. Take a step towards the land of Israel. Take a step. Go to the summers in the land of Israel. Send your kids to the land of Israel. And especially, number one, I see a lot of young people here, which is a lot of fun, but especially buy property in the land of Israel. Buy a piece of property. Take a step towards the land of Israel. Take a step. And my job is to make sure that you guys are connected. Obviously, we're pro-Aliyah. Obviously, we think that Jews have a home in the homeland. But I don't like to make it that it's one or the other. It's like Aliyah or you're gone in the diaspora. I don't believe in that at all. I just don't believe in that. I believe that we have to hold on to each other. But if you want, I could get a little deeper with you, which is, we're sitting in a room in America. And this is still a very powerful country. But the Jews that live in France, they lived in a powerful country that was powerful 100 years ago. Now it's not. And therefore, there are also Jews that are not part of something, they're not in it. They're kind of just stuck in France. Same thing with England. And when you go to England, you hang out with the Jews, you realize that they're not part of something. Here, the Jews that are in this room are part of America. It's a great thing. We have influence here. But that might shift. That might shift. There's a lot of anti-Semitism on our campuses today. We already missed the boat. In 10 years' time, things are different. Smart money and smart Jews are going to already start making their connections in Israel now. I'm not predicting doom. I'm not a doomsday guy. I'm just trying to be logical about it. It's likely that America in 10 years' time is not the same America as today. It's likely that there's going to be less sense of security. It's likely that there's going to be a generation that grew up at Harvard who's going to take over. And therefore, it might be a less friendly place. Smart money is on strengthening your relationship with Israel in the future. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong on this. I'm not trying to be a jerk about this. I'm not wishing bad on America at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's a country that's blessed me. I myself benefited from this country. I was an Orthodox Jew here. Nobody ever said boo to me, except for one time, like September 14th, 2002, somebody said something to me. Other than that, this country has been good to me, and I wish it well. And I think that there are millions of amazing people here that are going to be pro-Israel, pro-God, pro-Bible, good people. And I bless this country. But you got to feel the shifting of the earth a little bit. And it could be that there's a shift, and Jewish people know how to shift between superpowers. Maybe Israel's the next superpower. But my point to you is that the brand of the diaspora Jewry is what they do here, which is be creative, channel God's ideas, but connect yourself to Israel so that you have part of that great future. Fair? How was that answer? I'm happy with that answer. Okay. Yes, sir.
So, I live in a small city 2.5 hours away from here, Cumberland, Maryland.
Okay.
And there's only one synagogue there, and it's a Reform temple.
Okay.
And I belong there, and I've been going there for 15 years.
That's cool.
And I'm the only one trying to be as close as possible.
They must love you there.
I'm trying to be an Orthodox Jew.
At the Reform Temple in Cumberland.
I've read every book Kahana ever read, and I love Kahana.
The Reform rabbi must love that. He's loving it.
And they think I'm crazy, and I'm trying to wake them up. And they did nothing after October 7th. They did nothing after. They never talk about the hostages. They never pray for the IDF. I get so frustrated and so angry for them. I'm ready to just give up and quit. But I love Jews. I have Ahavat Yisrael in my heart.
Okay, but there's plenty of other Jews in different places.
What can I do to help these Jews? They won't wake up.
Remind me your name again?
Michael Mann.
Michael, that's nice, but you're responsible at the end for your life, and you've got to find community. And when you try with something, you can't hit your head against the wall. You do your best, but at the end of the day, you did your shlichut in Cumberland, but it's not the biggest mitzvah to stay in Cumberland to get this Reform temple to change their mind. It's a nice mitzvah, but it's not like the whole thing. There's bigger mitzvahs out there. I think shift gears, and there's other pastures out there. I wouldn't. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. You can't, and also give them the respect. The intellectual respect that they heard you, they didn't buy what you have to say. Okay, you have to move on. I don't win with every audience. I don't win with every piece of media. I don't always win. I accept that sometimes in discourse you're not going to win, but you have to go on. You have to listen to where Hashem's sending you. And I think...
I want to come with you. I want to go to Hebron.
So go.
I have no money. I'm a poor Jew. I have no money.
That is a problem. And therefore, and guess what? You're living in America. Get to work. There's money to be made here. Work for 3-4 years. Make a plan, and come with money, or try to find a job in Eretz Yisrael that'll support you, and do that. There's not. You don't have to be. You don't have to be a lawyer and a banker and all that kind of stuff. There's work to do in Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to say something. You're going to laugh at me. Maybe I don't want to offend it. Just accept it in the best way possible. You know what we need in Israel? We need Jewish bus drivers.
I do residential and commercial cleaning.
We need Jewish bus drivers, and we need cleaners. And if we don't have them, we have to use Arabs.
Yeah, forget that.
And it's dangerous and it's problematic, and it also funds their building of so-called Palestine. So come on down. You clean houses? Let me tell you something, Habibi. Listen, let me tell you something. Cleaners get a lot of money today. They get a lot of money. So get the paperwork going. Come to Israel, clean houses. What do you want? What are you waiting for? The Cumberland rabbi to give you a heter? Come on, let's go already. Let's go. Really, I'm telling you the truth. And you know what? We need bus drivers. And that's part of Betar also. That's part of Trimpledore. Be what the country needs you to be. Good. Okay. And send them my love to Cumberland. To the good folks. All right. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Alec. I graduated in college on Sunday. I think
Congratulations. What's that?
I think it's just that I survived college.
I survived it, yeah.
So being Jewish and Cardozo on campus it's a death warrant, right? So I lost all my friends because of that.
Wait. You're saying it very easily. Is that the way I'm asking? I'm asking you. Is that the way it is? Is that are you exaggerating, or I'm asking you honestly?
No. I went to Williams College. It's a small liberal school in Massachusetts.
Sure.
So my friends told me, Alec, you're a great guy. We get along. But because of your views on Israel, everyone else told me it's either be friends with you or be friends with them.
So you lost friends literally?
Almost all of them. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Were they Gentiles? Were they Jews?
half and half.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's part of the issue is that the school's Jewish center is pluralist, and they said
There's no Chabad or something?
no. The issue was that I started going to the Jewish center because on Friday nights they would have a girl who was not halakhically Jewish, who was part of the Palestine group, go and lead prayers for Gaza, which I thought was not, was not great after October.
It's like some kind of parody. It's like a joke. The pro Hamas non-Jewish girl is leading Friday night prayers for Gaza at the Jewish Center. Yeah, it's like a joke. Okay.
They have Havdalah for Palestine on Thursday nights on my campus.
What happens?
They have Havdalah for Palestine on Thursday.
Havdalah for Palestine on Thursday night.
They made it early, you know? Right. So my question for you.
Like the Yom Kippur picnic.
I got one better. The rabbi at our synagogue on Yom Kippur, just this past year, was preaching empathy and sympathy for the poor Palestinians from the Bima on Yom Kippur, and I stormed out of that service, and I never went back.
I love that. So my question is, so graduating college, so I want to stay in this country, I want to serve this country, because I think there's going to be a Jewish future in this nation, we have to fight for it. So what's your message to recent graduates such as myself, who find ourselves in a very different world than when we started in college?
Yeah, first thing is, but I agree with that sentiment, which is first thing, like connect with the stuff that's good, and there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, look, first thing is connect also with Chabad or whatever. Like, these guys, they love Jews. To help you feel connected, they help you with connect to Torah and that's community. Community is almost everything. It's not everything, but it's almost everything. Like, if you're going to stay here in America, then you got to find community. And you got to find community that... I was once in North California, and I met this Gentile couple, and they love the Bible, and they are Gentiles, but they wanted to connect with the Jews, and they went to this Reformed temple, and she goes to me, this Reformed temple, I love them, they're good Jews, and I love being with them, but their politics, I can't deal with their politics because we're conservative. So I said to her, listen, there's this thing called Chabad next door. She's like, Chabad? What was that? And I'm like, Chabad. Anyway, bottom line is, Chabad has a center now named after that family, okay? Because they connected and they helped them build this giant center. My point is community is like almost everything. So the first thing is find community. And community you got to find. And community is where you're going to find a wife. Community is where you're going to grow and feel safe. And community is important. So think about where you want to be. Again, I'd love for you to come to Israel. But if you hold from the stuff that you said, I respect that. So find that there are good communities here. Find that community. Then be part of organizations that give you strength, that want to fight for Jewish strength and want to fight for Israel. The other thing is find a way to connect to Israel, stay connected to Israel. Find a project that you love in Israel. Support something in Israel. Be part of it. Now, I'm going to say something very important that I learned years ago. What I'm about to say is very, 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 very important. There's a difference between pro-Israel and Zionist. Pro-Israel, I support Israel. I like Israel. Israel's great. I go to the parade. I wave the flag. It's nice. Zionist means I'm part of the building of the Jewish state. I want to be, what is that? Does that mean I leave America necessarily? No, but take a step to build it. I'm part of this project. I believe in Hebron. I believe in Shiloh. I believe in Ir David. I'm helping them. I believe in the IDF. I'm really helping them. I volunteer every summer. I come to Sarel. Something. I send my kids. Like, take a meaningful step. That's part of my identity. And when you are part of something like that, when you go to sleep at night knowing that you did something to build the Jewish state, which is our great dream of the last 2,000 years, you can go to sleep at night and being like, I'm part of something great. That's how I go to sleep at night. Because I'm part of building stuff. And not just talking. This talking stuff that I do and the YouTube and all that I do, that's what you see on the outside. I have a lot of projects that I do that are physical. I buy tractors for hilltops. I help build Hebron. Physical stuff to build the Jewish state. It's exciting. It's rewarding. It's satisfying. It's meaningful. And that's what we're looking for, is meaning. And Hashem is giving us meaning. He's giving us identity and meaning. So, that's raise your kids Jewish. Find a nice Jewish gal. Raise your kids Jewish. Find a nice community. One that gives you strength, not a sissy community. A strength community. One that has a strong identity. And root yourself in a project to be part of the Jewish state. You're in good shape. You're good looking. You graduated college. You got it going on. So,
He's not that
that's a matter of taste. But the bottom line is that, but like here we are tonight, right? Here we are. Look at all these people here. Like this, right here is community. By the way, I told Jake, my friend, I said to him, I'm here. I'm going to talk. Maybe they'll hear me. But most important to me is that people meet one another. Like I'll be leaving. You guys are here. Like I want you to connect. Like for me, I told Jake, well, I don't know where he is. I said to him, make a shidduch tonight. Make a connection. It could be a boy-girl shidduch, or maybe just a friend's shidduch or a business shidduch. But like meet somebody. That's your challenge tonight. You got to leave tonight with a telephone number of somebody that you're going to be friends with, that's going to help you grow in a real meaningful way and be part of your life. Like, let's make tonight the night that you met that person that helps you be that person. Let's make that happen tonight. Is that nice? I think that's a really nice thought. I really like that. That's my challenge. Bezrat Hashem. With the help of God. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, one more question. One or two more questions. Come on. Yes, Haider. Yes, talk to me.
As we see right now,
You know, like here's a guy right here in the back. He comes from Iraq. Okay, his parents are Muslim. And he's a guy who ran away from Iranian persecution in Iraq. And him and I, we understand each other immediately because we're Middle East people. I get a lot of crap on YouTube. People are like, how come you say you're Middle Eastern and you have a great accent? What kind of stupidity is that? I'm a Middle Eastern person. I happen to also speak English, big deal. But we understand each other. It's a way of life of our region. We're also Abrahamic. We're part of something. I want his people to do well. I want Iraq to do well. I want Iraq to be blessed. Before you ask your question, I just want to say one thing which is very important to me. What is peace? What does peace look like? I need you to know the answer to this so that you could say it when people start bugging you. Are you listening, my friend from college? What's your name? I forgot your name? Alec. What does peace look like? It's so darn simple. It's absurd. Here's what peace looks like. A strong Jewish Israel on its land, surrounded by strong Arab countries on their land, working together for regional prosperity in the Abrahamic region. That's it. See how simple it is? Strong Israel on its land with strong Arabs on their land. We're nationalists, not imperialists. I want them to live in their lands and work together for the Abrahamic region. That's my new name for the Middle East. I don't call it the Middle East. Which middle of which East? I don't know what you're talking about. I call it the Abrahamic region. And so that's it. That's what peace looks like. It's so simple, right? So simple. And if minorities want to live in my land, that's fine. As long as they're pro-Israel, non-jihadists. There should be exactly zero tolerance for jihadism. Exactly zero tolerance for jihadism in our land and on our borders. It's absolutely not acceptable. Zero tolerance for jihadism. But you can live in my land as a resident, if you wish. And if not, Allah ma'ak, you have 20 other countries to choose from. Yes, sir, your question.
So, with my activism for the past few years, I noticed something which is Jews in the European region getting attacked, especially in the past few years, by, for example, France and other countries.
Belgium.
Synagogues, sports, whatever. Jews all the time getting attacked. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, except in the Gaza Strip area, we find that the protest against Israel is much less compared in Europe. Attacks on the Jews is much less compared to Europe. That gives me the feeling that Europe is becoming the new Middle East. Middle East is becoming the old Europe. So, which means, of course, actually, that Europe is no longer...
It's got Jewish blood in him, yeah. Huh?
Europe
Yeah.
no longer pro-Israel. We
Yeah.
are in the future, the Middle East...
But you did hear about this thing that happened 80 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You do know that they're not really that pro-Israel, the Europeans. They weren't back then either. Europe has a problem, you know that, Haider, right? They'll never forgive, this is not my line, but they'll never forgive the Jews for the Holocaust. You know that. They'll never forgive the Jews for the Holocaust. They have a problem with the Jews because you hate the thing that when you offend somebody, you learn to hate him. They desperately hate us, and they want to prove that we're evil so that it could be understood why they did their bad thing to us, or to prove that they're not any worse than we are. They have a crazy psychology, and they're godless, and they've lost their identity, and they've lost their family identity, and the jihad has infiltrated them. I want to tell you something about the jihad. I have a problem. I think that jihad is very smart. It's so smart. And let me tell you the two-step. I don't know if people in this room know. The jihad works in 2 steps. The first thing they send to a society before they come and attack it is the dreaded disease of liberalism and progressivism. That disease dissolves all defenses. It destroys your belief in your history. It destroys your family, because you don't have families anymore. It destroys your sense of identity and self. It destroys your masculinity. It destroys your army. It destroys all of the stuff that is the defense. Then they sneak, once they've emasculated you as a society, then they sneak in with their uber toxic masculinity. And that's what they did in Europe. They destroyed their European identity. Christianity got destroyed. Family got destroyed. Nationalism got destroyed. They became this. When did it all happen? When they became the European Union. Once they lost their individual country pride, once they lost their identity, they lost everything. They lost their walls, their defenses. They lost their family units. And the jihad swept in, raped, did whatever, and just took it over. Now the jihad owns them. Either physically they bully them, or they buy them, or they bully and buy them. They're done. England's done. England's boycotting ministers in the Israeli government. They're at war with us. London is a jihad capital. Brussels is a jihad capital. It's done. It's done. They've fallen. They've fallen. And Israel has not fallen yet. And this country, they are working good in this country. Notice the 2 attacks against Jews in the last few weeks. One was a communist progressive. One was a jihadi Allahu Akbar Muslim. That's the Marxist jihadist alliance, Red-Green Alliance. That's what's happening. And so Israel is less that. Israel is a more conservative country. It has an identity. It has a religious identity. It has a borders identity. It's connected to land. It has a linguistic identity. It has a strong identity. The masculinity is forced upon us, so we still hold on to it. Our army gives us that defense. When I say masculinity, by the way, I don't mean male. I don't mean men. I mean masculine as a stance of a society. Okay, as a defensive stance. Europe, we've been warning them, and we've succumbed to them. The Jews that live there are under attack. Remember, by the way, when Jews are under attack, they leave. They leave, the blessing goes away. The country turns to mush, and then more Jews move to Israel. Israel becomes stronger. So there's an ingathering. The anti-Semitism is also a machine for ingathering, always has been.
So do you believe that the example of coexistence between right now Israel and the UAE and Bahrain will expand after the defeat of Iranian regime and their terrorists in the Middle East? Do you think that will expand to cover all the countries in the Middle East?
Just one second. Bennett handed me a thing. Breaking news. According to reports from Iran, Iran's chief of staff has been eliminated. We shouldn't say Iran. It's not Iran. It's the militia. It's the mullah regime. Right. It's important to say that because the Iranian people are with us. And you know what they're looking to us to be? A liberation nation. A nation that helps liberate, not a little ghetto, little Jewish, little good state. A big, bad, bold, beautiful, badass Jewish state that liberates. What was your last question?
So do you think that after the defeat of this regime and their terrorists in the Middle East, that the coexisting example between Israel and the UAE and Bahrain would expand to cover all these countries?
I think that if Israel would be big and strong, then a lot of Arab countries are going to turn to us. I think so. We have to make it that jihad doesn't work and that being friends with Israel works.
Well, the defeat of these terrorists.
It's all about being big, man. If Israel's big and strong is the same thing. I just mean to say, if Israel's strong, people will respect it, people will like it, people will go to Abraham Accords. If Israel's weak and doesn't take care of business and doesn't beat Gaza, you can't fight in Gaza for 600 days. It's a joke. We conquered Gaza in 2 days in the 6-day war. It's a joke. You turn off their water, you turn off their electricity, you defeat them. Hello? Like, what do you think you're feeding here? What monster do you think you're feeding? Stop feeding the monster. So you have to be big, you have to be clear, And I'll tell you something, I'll tell you a little Torah, because I know you love Torah, am I right? Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you the little Torah. We have two names. Our peoplehood is called Israel, but beforehand, the first name of Israel is Jacob. If you look at the Bible, Jacob existed through, he had a big brother who was bad to him, and then he had his father-in-law that was bad to him. He had to constantly be tricky in order to survive. He survived in the diaspora by being a little bit tricky, being a little clever, a little smart Jew who knows how to exist in the foreign court. That's called Yaakov. But when we come back to the land of Israel, we have a new name. That's Yisrael. That means Yashar El. That means you have to be straight. You have to be a sovereign. You have to be clear. You have to give clarity. Here's what you can do and here's what you can't do. Here's what's criminality and jihadism that we don't accept. Here's what you can do and be a good resident in the land of Israel and get plenty of benefits and opportunities. Okay? Here's your responsibilities. Here's your benefits. Clarity, strength, sovereignty, governance. And the Middle East understands that. So we're in a process right now. Yaakov is this ghetto Jew that I'm talking about. And Israel is this sovereign Jew that's not quite there yet, but it's on the way. All right? Okay, last question. Yes, sir.
Steve Goldfein with Betar.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
It's late, Steve. It's 9 p.m.
Yes.
Go for it, baby.
So I talk fast, but I was just going to say we're talking about, chickens for KFC, and I infiltrated, Jews for Peace. We know them. So I sat in a Seder with about 60 or 70 other people, and I was breaking matzah with, they used the bitter herbs as literally, they had a 13-page Haggadah that they changed to reflect Palestine.
Steve, just one point, which is jihadism is the ultimate, Haidar, I want you to hear this. Jihadism is the ultimate cultural appropriator. They're always culturally appropriating. That's what they do everywhere. Everything. Jerusalem, cultural appropriation. The Quran is a book full of cultural appropriation. And it even kind of admits it in the Quran. The bottom line is that, like, what you're talking about is just the next gen of cultural appropriation, you know? Now we're doing a Seder for their emancipation. Now we're praying for them on Yom Kippur. Now we're doing, Havdalah on Thursday nights for Palestine.
The bitter herbs for the tears of the Palestinian children.
What's your question?
Yeah, so perfect world and real world, but you with your history and maybe as of today with the attack, obvious.
Inshallah. Yes.
What do you see in sort of I say 1, 5, 10 year, but so it's, quick answer would be, what do you see Israel as you'd like to see it, and realistically what you think it could be?
I think that Israel we need a maturation process, honestly. And that's what I was saying about haughtiness. That was my point number 2. We need to want to fix. We need to get rid of some of our socialism. We need to get rid of some of our bureaucracy. We need to get rid of some of our big state ideas. We need to empower a little bit more liberty, freedom in a bigger country. We got to deal with some psychological issues from within. We got to learn to like one another better. The ultra orthodox and the secular. We got to learn to work together. We got to a little bit more harmonize the gig. A little bit more. It's a little too splintered still right now. Okay, we got to work on the harmonization. We got to work on the harmonization between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. These two different brands. These two different we got to work on trying to bring that together a little less. We got to also have a clear identity. You may like what I say or not like what I say, but I have a very clear agenda, how we could all work with the Middle East and how we could work with one another. It's very clear in my mind, and other people don't have that clarity. We need a little bit more clarity, and that will bring to a clear brand. We need a little bit more uniformity, a little bit more grandeur, a little bit more, how should I say, a sense that we're here. Well, yeah, but that's not exactly the right word. It's more like a little bit more established, to feel like we're home, we're in the land, we're not going anywhere. A little less dumbness. Stop feeding, the Palestinian Authority money and all these stupid things that we do, giving away our land. Take responsibility. We're big. We have zero tolerance for bad stuff. We're the bosses around here. A big Israel is a good thing. That is a brand that is not existent in Israel. And so we have a lot of work to do. I am hopeful. The number one thing that I could tell you is hopeful is the Israeli youth. It is a good youth, I'm telling you. It's Zionistic. It's values. It's value driven. There's just a beautiful next generation rising up. It's courageous. It has proved its valor in this war. There's just something happening which is a good thing. That's special, because Americans cannot say that as easily, that the next generation is like, we're raising a better generation below us. I see it. It's pretty cool. Because it's the iPhone generation, all that. No, they're cool. And so that's a big one. And we have a reserve inside of an identity that is yet willing to explode. It's willing to come out. We have an internal thing that has not yet even been fully, it has not revealed itself fully. It's coming. But Israel needs to fix some psychological things to stop being the 2,000-year-old Yaakov and to get into an Israel mode. We need to change that. So we also have work to do, like that, and that's also part of it. You have to also say our society needs work. It's important to say that, Israel. It's important to say that we have a bad culture of driving. We have a bad culture of standing in line. We cut each other off. We're stealing from one another. We kill each other on the roads. That's wrong. Say it. Don't pat yourself in the back and say everything is okay. Don't do that. Okay, the ultra-Orthodox trampled each other in Lag BaOmer, and nobody says the truth about what happened there. They did it because of their rough behavior. Nobody wants to say it. The police did in this, and the technology wasn't that, and the hallways with this and that. Bullcrap. I was there. It was because of the pushiness, the bad culture. So, I believe that there's a few different things that have to happen for Israel to heal. One of them is a little more humility, a little bit more self-reflection, and Israel needs that. And at the same time, the anti-Semitism will force more people to come to the land of Israel. Jewish identity will rise up. The idea of land giveaway is dying, it's dead. Progressivism has basically been a failure for Israel. Nobody gives a damn about our progressivism. The progressives have never bought into our show of progressivism. It has not the Israeli progressives thought that if they show progressivism, the progressives would like them. No. Nobody gives a damn. They're still anti-Semitic. And you don't garner respect. So there's a lot of steps to be taken, but it is exciting. And now, the finale. We finish off with this, my friends. The finale is that we've got to pray, all of us. And I don't know exactly how you pray and what you pray to, but let's pray. All right, let's do a little prayer here. And let's pray that we are part of this thing called Israel. And that we thank God for this thing called Israel. It's a blessing. It's a big thing that's happening. It's revelation. Jerusalem is being built. The youth are growing up. There are 7 million Jews in the land of Israel today. We have an army. We have a language that's back. And we want to be part of this great moment, Hashem. Give us a strength to continue to fight, to not be depressed, to give each other strength, to find good people, to move it forward in our time. We thank you for this thing called our body and our soul and the time that we're living in. It's a gift. Thank you, Hashem, for that gift. And thank you for this evening where we are together with good people who want good things. And all we ask is that you give us the gift of being part of your great dream. We ask that you give us a chance to move forward your great dream. And let us maximize our life and use it properly and have meaning in our life and have health in our life and have children in our life and have welfare in our life. And to see that great day where Jerusalem will shine to the world. Amen. Amen. Wait, hold on one second. Now, the last part of this is that I want you to fulfill that exercise that I said to Alec. You got to find a telephone number of a person that you didn't know and try to make a friendship, okay? I know it's a little funny, it's a little awkward, but that's why it's fun, okay? Here, thank you, JFNA, okay? Thank you, Jewish Federations. And thank you for this wonderful room. Thank you to Young Jewish Conservatives, and thank you very much to Betar. It's been so fun and very special for me. And let us say together, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. And we're going to continue to get stronger from this day forward. Thank you. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom. All right, folks, Yishai Fleisher on a jog here in Judea. I hope that you enjoyed that talk that I gave in Washington, D.C. on the very night that Israel attacked Iran. A very powerful moment in Jewish history. And I was in Washington, but a very special night indeed. All right, don't forget to be part of the fight. One of the ways to do that is through our website, fightforisrael.org, fightforisrael.org. And buymeacoffee.com/Yishai, ways to support our broadcasting, because truth is rare and we've got to protect it. And the lies are everywhere. How do you like that? Truth is rare. The lies are everywhere. stand up strong for Israel and for the Jewish people through those websites. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out our store, be part of the story. You are blessed wherever you are when you're a part of Israel. God bless you folks from the land of Israel. More strength, more love, more being part of the story. God bless you wherever you are. Lots of love and shalom.